Ay, ay, ay. Colombia isn't it, man. Colombia is not it, right? And I was telling this gentleman this yesterday that I had met, right? I'm never coming back to Medellin, right? I'm never coming back. Uh, I'm just not, right? People say, why not? Why not? Why not? For two reasons. One, things have changed, right? 4 or 5 years ago when I was here, man, I used to tour up these clubs, right? Uh, Gustos would be, it could have been 60, 70 women in Gustos, right? 4 or 5 years ago, all the beautiful women was inside of the clubs, right? Now, all the semi-attractive women are outside of the club, right? And I've been here, over a week, right? I've been to Gusto's twice, right? And in those two times combined, I've never seen more than 30 women in there, right? In those two times combined in Gusto's, right? I've never seen more than 30 women in there. 4 or 5 years ago, you're gonna see 30 women just on one side of the club. Things have changed, man. Like things have not things have changed for the worse. Let me give you the second reason why. Sasua, right? Hey, how you doing? I need a favor. I need a favor. I know I'm sitting here hanging backwards like 50 Cent at the Super Bowl, but I need a favor. I'm not asking for money, donations, clicking the link, nothing like that. Do me one favor. Can you do that for me? It's free. I swear. Hit that subscribe button. Sasua. Men are looking for a spot that they can go to that's cheap, convenient, right? And that's going to give them something similar to the experiences that they had in Sasua, right? The next best place, right, is Colombia, is Medellin, right? The next best place, but after going out and walking around for a couple of days, it's like, yeah, trash, 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 trash. Like I don't see the quality that was there before, right? The quantity and 50-50, right? Because the quantity was better back in the day as well. If you've seen some of my video, right? These streets used to be packed, but the quality is not there, man. Like when I was in Colombia last time, like I'd have a hard time trying to figure out who I wanted to talk to, right? Like being in some club in Atlanta, the DMV, Houston, right? Where it's all like baddies in there, all models in there, all dimes. Back in the day, I had a hard time trying to figure out who I wanted to talk to. Now I have a hard time trying to figure out who I want to talk to. Things just aren't the same anymore, right? And listen, I get it, right? I've been there too. I understand. Like I used to come to Colombia on 3 and 4 day weekends for a couple of days. I understand, right? I understand you're there for 3 or 4 days and you're not worried about your finances, right? You got money to spend, right? You're only there 3 or 4 days, right? But when I leave Medellin, I would have been here like 2 weeks, right? And I'm sure I've said this in a previous Medellin video years ago. These short time guys are messing up the rotation. These short term guys are messing up the prices. And I'm going to talk about prices in another video. But these guys that come in for 2 or 3 days, right? I'm on my like 12th day or something. These guys that come in for 2 or 3 days and they don't care how much money they spending because they're going back to work on Monday or Tuesday. They're messing up the game. Because let's just say this. Think about this for a second. Let's just say that a woman asked for 200, right? And we're gonna talk about video. We're gonna talk about prices in debt in depth in another video. Let's say a woman asked for 200, right? This guy's so madly in love with her physical appearance, right? He's like, all right, man, I got 200, man. I'm only here for another day. I'll give you the 200, right? Now that woman thinks that every man that she meets after that is going to give her that 200. Now that woman, her value went up in her head. She's telling her friend, "Oh, I got 200. You got 100. You got 125. You got 50, 150." The value that a woman thinks she's worth is determined by how much you are willing to pay. I'm going to repeat that again. The value that a woman thinks that she's worth is determined by how much you're willing to pay. Because if we break this down, right, let's say a woman doesn't have a job, right? Because if she's out from 11 to 4 a.m. every day looking for customers, 9 times out of 10, she doesn't have a regular job, right? So let's say a woman doesn't have a regular job, right? Let's just say that, right? She's out every night. Guess what? She still has to pay rent, right? 9 times out of 10, she has a child. She still got to take care of that child. 9 times out of 10, she has a family she can take care of. Her mom, her dad, this person, that person. She's going to have to make some money based on the price she thinks she's worth or the price she's willing to accept. She's going to have to make some money. There's been plenty of women that gave me outrageous. Listen, one, I don't like to pay, but you're going to directly or indirectly pay. But there's been plenty of women that's gave me some outrageous prices, and I'm like, no. Then I watched them for the next 45 minutes walk around the park because no one else was going to pay those prices either. There's been plenty of women that gave me outrageous prices, clubs, La Isla, and they're going home after the club and going to lay down by themselves. And don't get me wrong, La Isla's kind of like a bad example because you can take them down in La Isla. I'm going to talk about La Isla in another video. But women are thinking short term. Women are thinking, oh man, Billy's not going to pay this 150, this 200, this 250, this 300. I'll find somebody that will, but that's not necessarily the case. And I don't want to get too detailed in the prices because trust me, that's a 12-hour video for another time. But these weekend warriors are messing up the game. These guys that usually go to OSUA are messing up the game. They're messing up the numbers. And they've overvalued these women drastically, diabolically. I will never come back to Medellin a day in my life. It's been a good run, right? I've, had a good time in Medellin. I think several years ago, I came to Medellin like 3 or 4 times in 1 year, right? And I'm back. Like Batman, but this is my last Medellin video. I just don't see where the juice is worth the squeeze. I don't see where there is any benefit in me packing my luggage, getting on a plane, going to an Airbnb in a hotel for Medellin. There's zero benefit whatsoever for me ever returning to Medellin. And truth be told, I was looking at changing my tickets so I can leave Medellin early. Now, I've never, ever, ever, maybe besides for, I think I was in Cambodia, I've never, ever, ever considered leaving a country early. The only reason I didn't leave this country early is because the ticket prices changed. Right, I bought my Medellin tickets a month prior. Right, I'm just being honest, and I was looking at changing it. Prices went up $300-400. I am just going to sit here and sit it out. But if I could have had a reasonable, definitely not $300 or $400, reasonable ticket change, I would have left Medellin early. But I took it upon myself to find something good in Medellin and say, hey, man, I can go to the gym. I like this little gym. I go to the gym 6 days a week, right? I'm going to work on myself, make some videos, sleep. Find something good out of a bad situation. But coming here to Medellin has been my biggest mistake of 2025. And I've seen the videos of people here. I've seen the videos of things closing in Medellin and police presence. And I'm going to talk about that in another video. Oh, matter of fact, let's talk about it now. There's a heavy police presence in Medellin. That's all I'm going to tell you. But there is neither good nor bad, because it's not like the police presence in OSUA. They're not trying to get rid of you. They're not trying to tell you to go home. They're not trying to tell you you're not welcome. They're not trying to disperse you. But they are trying to control what goes on in and around these areas. And we're going to talk about safety in Medellin in another video. But things have changed to where there's no longer any benefit in being here. And I'm gonna give you an example. Listen, back in the day, man, you could have found a regular woman, man. I've told people you can find a regular woman in Medellin. You can. You still can, right? And I've said this in previous videos, and I'm going to continue to say it. I get on Tinder about a month prior, right? I'm just being honest, right? I boost my I probably spent, listen, I'm not saying you should do this, but I'm telling you what I've done. I probably spent $500 on Tinder Boost, super likes, all these things to get me in the algorithm to be one of the first people that a woman sees when she logs on, right? So I've spent quite a bit of money on Tinder, right? And I'm not saying you should do, but I'm just saying it hasn't failed me yet. And with getting on Tinder a month early, you have time to filter out women, right? All right, what are you looking for? You looking for this, right? Let's say you're talking to her at 7 o'clock her time. You can ask questions to kind of figure out what she does, right? Even if she's not direct, even though most people will be direct, not just in Colombia, most people will kind of tell you what they're looking for, right? You can kind of ask questions, kind of filter out of their line and telling the truth. Oh, you talking to her? It's 9 o'clock in Colombia, right? Whatever time it is in your time, right? Hey, what's your plan for tomorrow? And these are questions you can write down, like, all right, Crispy Flying got a point. I know. Well, what's your plans for tomorrow? Right? You can ask these questions. What's your plans for tomorrow? All right, it's 9 o'clock at night at your time. All right, what time you getting up in the morning? Right? You can indirectly see if she has a job, right? And trust and believe if she does not have a job, if she does not talk about getting up and going to work, she's busy, she has this, that, or the third going on the next day, you can trust and believe there's a great chance she's selling, right? There's a great chance she's selling, right? You don't want to be too direct with it. You don't want to know where you're getting at, but you can ask the right questions, kind of figure out if she has a job. You can kind of figure out, and I said 9 times out of 10, they're gonna let you know. I'm looking for fun, companionship, right? We'll get into that when I talk about Tinder in Medellin, right? Mutual benefits. And remember that word. When I talk about Tinder in Medellin, that mutual benefits is going to come up a lot. So I suggest, and I'm not saying spend $500 on Tinder, right? Like I do, right? But I suggest getting on Tinder early to ensure you can filter out what you're looking for versus what you're not. And I was talking to this one guy, and he, oh man, I put my location on Tinder. I didn't get that many matches. I'm like, bro, let's say Medellin for you. Let's say it's 500 guys here on Tinder. You think she's swiping through 501 guys to see your profile that you didn't boost? You think she's swiping through 501 profiles to see your picture that you didn't super like her so she could see when she logs on to Tinder? No, you have to do things within Tinder to ensure that there's a higher chance of her seeing your profile. Not saying she's going to pick you, but there's a higher chance of her seeing your profile. But I prefer, right? I do prefer being in countries where there's water, right? I prefer being in, this is just me now. I prefer being in countries that's near water. I prefer being places where I can walk to the beach. I actually don't mind sitting on the beach because it's just you have more options in areas where there's water. You have more options of things. You can go get on a jet ski, you can go swimming, you can just walk up and down. I prefer being in locations where I'm near the beach. We just have more things to do. And some may say, hey, Chris, keep flying. Should I go to Medellin? And my answer is going to be no. I don't suggest anyone come here to Medellin, to be honest with you. I think that wave is dead. I think that wave is no longer, right? I do, right? Like I said before, I used to come here years ago. You have a hard time not leaving with something. You can go out and plan on not taking nothing home, and you'd have a hard time not taking nothing home. I just see a lot more women that I'm not physically attracted to than I am physically attracted to. If you're not as picky as me, right, come to Medellin. I'll say that. Disclaimer, if you're not as picky as me, come to Medellin because I know what I want, right? If you know, you know, I like a big booty. A woman with a big booty, that's my salt. That the face can be average. She can have no chest. If she got a donkey, you got my attention, right? That's just my, that's just me, right? That's me. I love a big booty, right? A donkey, a horse, right? That's just me. And I'm not really seeing that here, right? Outside of the gym, right? Outside of the gym, like the gym is BBL central, and I'm gonna do a video on the gym later. The BBL, the hub of the BBLs in Medellin is the gym, right? But outside of the gym, right? I'm not really seeing that here. See, I got a Tinder match. Don't you love it? When it says you got a new match on Tinder, I don't know if you can see it. Don't you love it when you get a new match on Tinder? Let's see. Can't even show it. It's crazy. Don't you love it when you got a new match on Tinder? Y'all stand by for a second. Let me see what she looking like, man. Let me see what she looking like. I'm gonna give y'all a grade 1 through 10. Uh, uh I can't do it. I might unmatch her. I might unmatch her. All right, so back to the story, man. I just don't really suggest people come here because I'm not. If you don't like big donkeys like I like them, come here. But if you do, do not come here. But and I've talked about it in my Colombia versus Medellin video. I'm sure. I just find Dominican women more attractive. I do. I do. I think Dominican women are some of the most beautiful women in the world. I do. But you may think the most beautiful woman in the world might be in Spain or Romania or Croatia or America or Kenya or Egypt or Rwanda or Tanzania. Everyone has a preference. But from a big booty level, like I like, pause, I'm just more physically attracted to Dominican women. I am. So here's my take on Medellin, man. This is, my playlist gonna always be here, man. If y'all got some questions, concerns, want to chit chat, that's cool, right? On some positivity and information type stuff, suggestions. I respect it. That's cool. But I'm never gonna be here again. When I leave in a couple days, I'm never coming back to Medellin. When I go to other places in Colombia, sure, maybe. Definitely not Bogota, because I've been to Bogota. Bogota was trash. Bogota was trash. Trash. Probably the worst city in Colombia. But I will say this, I've been on some dates, man. I've been on some regular dates, right? I have. But, you know, I've been on regular dates with women that I want to be in relationships with. Does that make sense? Like, I've been on regular dates, but with women that I just want to date them. I've been on regular dates with women that may or may not see me again. I've been on regular dates with women that I wouldn't post on YouTube. So yes, I have been on regular dates, right? I have, but I had to swipe through 100 women. I'm lying. Let's say I had to swipe through 50 women to find one woman that was literally, respectfully, and not lying about her wanting a relationship. And we can say, "Oh man, da 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 da." Listen, let's be honest. A lot of women, right? Not just in South America, a lot of women want relationships so they can get out of the situation that they're in. And I'm just being honest, right? If a woman is struggling and you're able to send her 100, 200, 3, 4, 5, 6, $1,000 a month, whatever the number may be, you're helping her get out of poverty. So relationships benefit women. But at this point in my life, man, I just think this coming here was a mistake. And I honestly, from the bottom of my heart, regret coming here. But I want a relationship where it's mutual benefits. And we're going to talk about that in my 10th video. Stay tuned.